From the National Catholic Register, this is Register Radio, bringing light and clarity to the news and topics that affect your life.
Heartbeat bills, measures that would ban abortion after the detection of a fetal heartbeat, have been gaining momentum in state legislatures across the country. Is this the next battleground in fighting abortion? Can they succeed in the face of a bitter opposition from the pro-abortion movement? This week on Register Radio, we talked to Register correspondent Lauretta Brown. Then we talked to Register contributor Patti Armstrong about the strange products at Wal-Mart. An exorcist is concerned. I'm Jeanette DeMello, editor-in-chief of the National Catholic Register and co-host of Register Radio, and I'm joined by Matthew Bunson, the Register senior editor and co-host of Register Radio. Hi, Matthew.
Good to be with you, as always.
So a fetal heartbeat, can be heard as early as 6 weeks of pregnancy. And before some women even know they are pregnant. These measures that we're talking about, the measures so-called heartbeat bills, are to prevent abortions after the moment that we can hear that unborn baby's heartbeat. And these are becoming very popular in state legislatures, but they are also very controversial. It's a subject of disagreement even among pro-life groups. And here with us to talk about these heartbeat bills is the Register correspondent Lauretta Brown. And Loretta's been writing for the Register for, almost 8-10 months now as a freelance writer. She's been a full-time writer for townhall.com. And I'm very pleased to say that soon Lauretta will be a full-time writer for the Register. So, Lauretta, welcome to the show and welcome on board the Register.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, and I'm so excited to be joining the team.
So you're based there in D.C. You'll be our national correspondent, and you've really been covering the pro-life movement for quite some time now. These bills are very interesting, and they've been gaining some momentum, as I said in our intro. Where have they been most recently approved?
Yeah, so I think the most recent development I've seen, they're currently being considered or have been passed in a little over 10 states now, and in Georgia, there's been the Georgia State Senate has passed one, and that caused a bit of controversy as these legislation, like as you mentioned, this legislation has been causing controversy as it's been advancing. So yeah, Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, it's being considered are some of the recent ones.
Right, and so I remember it might have been a month or two ago, it was rejected, I believe, in Tennessee. And I remember a relative of mine just saying, wow, that's concerning. And I knew a little bit of the backstory. So explain why some places have rejected this.
Yeah, so there's actually, as you mentioned, some pro-life opposition to these bills. And it's not based on the ideology, right? So these pro-life groups
we agree.
Do think that they agree on opposing abortion, but they think that legislation like this is not prudent. So the heartbeat bills have not had much luck. I'll just put it that way. They have actually been up for consideration before the Supreme Court. I believe it was 2016, and the Supreme Court declined to consider the case, and that left the state, North Dakota, with some significant attorney's fees that they had to pay to Planned Parenthood, which, I mean, kind of undermines the pro-life cause. Is the argument of some, is that we're faced with these legal fees to abortion groups, and it's these drawn-out court battles, and there's a real, challenge regarding these bills' constitutionality it seems almost impossible, just when you look at the judicial precedent here, the way it's played out in the courts thus far.
Sure.
So,
and that
so the Tennessee. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to jump in on that Tennessee bill. I mean, it was actually opposed by Bishop Richard Sticka, who is the bishop of the Diocese of Knoxville. It was opposed by the bishop of Nashville as well. And for a bishop to come out opposing a bill that is on the face of it, completely a pro-life bill is pretty amazing. And it's precisely for that reason, right? It was what they felt was going to be a financial burden that and an impossibility legally. Was there anything else that they put forward as argumentation against the bill?
Yeah, so they talked about their concerns also about strengthening the precedent of the Roe v. Wade decision through, the piling up of cases like these in the lower appellate courts. And they talked, as you mentioned, about being prudent. And so, they're calling it a pro-abortion evil, but they're saying we need to be prudent in how we meet that. And they cited the attorney's fees and kind of the burden on the state that causes. And so yeah, they put forward some strong considerations here.
They're pretty compelling. On the other side of it, though, those pro-life groups that are supporting the heartbeat bills, the fact that it did pass in Mississippi and Georgia just within like the last week or so, what are the arguments for them taking on this bill and I guess committed to paying the legal cost, literal legal cost of supporting it?
Yeah, so I looked at some of the arguments that were being made by pro-life groups in Ohio, actually, where Governor Kasich vetoed the bill, but then the new governor, Mike DeWine, has promised to sign it. And the pro-life groups there are supportive, partly because of that, partly because they know that this will definitely, this won't be vetoed, it'll go through, but also because they pointed out the changes in the Supreme Court, right? So President Trump's Supreme Court justices, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, and they have, some optimism, some hope that those recent Supreme Court justices will be friendlier to pro-life causes than the Supreme Court has been in the past. So, there are definitely arguments to be made whether or not that optimism is founded in, is well-founded or not. But they figure it's a different dynamic, and it's possible that the Supreme Court could be more open to revisiting this. So
we'll see.
To them, it seems like a good time to consider to revisit it.
Well, you mentioned in your article, Catherine Glenn Foster, the Presidents for Americans United for Life, she uses the phrase prudent legislation. We have to be prudent about this. So let's talk then about what are some of the alternatives. What is the pro-life movement really focusing on now, if it's not necessarily this? Yeah,
so there's some legislation. I think the pro-life movement has always tried to have sort of an incremental approach, or there's been a lot of proponents of that approach. So, for example, 20-week ban on abortion, where there's more of a case for there actually have been children who've survived birth at 20 weeks. There's a case to be made for viability being at 20 weeks. So those sorts of legislation, that's also been very popular in the states, the pain-capable bills. And then I believe Catherine Glenn Foster actually mentioned states' efforts to defund Planned Parenthood. Those have been more successful and have yielded kind of more concrete results. So these are some of the legislative efforts that the pro-life movement has more likelihood of success at, and could be putting more of their effort towards with a higher likelihood of seeing some real results.
Now, Lauretta, you have also covered, I remember reading, I think it was a tweet from somebody at National Review, Alexandra DeSantis, I think, and she was saying, hey, there are close to 300 anti-abortion, that's the term she used, anti-abortion bills proposed throughout the country this year. Of course, we call those pro-life bills. But, that's great. But we're already seeing a lot of these being not litigated, but I'm sure they will be litigated. I think you wrote at Town Hall about one just this week in North Carolina that was struck down. Tell us a little bit more about what happened in North Carolina this week.
Oh yes, the 20-week ban there was declared unconstitutional, I believe, by a federal judge, and that's something I believe I mentioned in that piece. There are 20-week bans that have stayed in place in some of these states, so it's not. There is definitely a legal battle, but it's something that, as I mentioned, I think there's a greater likelihood of success depending on the legislation. So, I mean, I mentioned the legislation defunding Planned Parenthood. States have had some success with that, and the Trump administration has made some strides also in making clear that states have the right to defund Planned Parenthood. And they, the Trump administration kind of undid some of the steps in the opposite direction the Obama administration took in that regard. So I think there's with the recent thing in North Carolina, I think there's some hope there if the state wants to try and appeal that.
Sure.
Because there's some precedent. There's arguments to be made regarding viability, and so as I said, it's an incremental approach. There's this legislation. There's, as you mentioned, hundreds of pro-life bills in the states, and it's just an effort to kind of place some restrictions there, to have some reasonable measures about this. So we'll see how a lot of that plays out over this year.
Absolutely. So, Lauretta, your piece ran in our print edition. It can also be found online under the title "Heartbeat Bills Gain State Momentum, but Pro-Life Groups Divided on Their Efficacy." That's again by Lauretta Brown, and I think we ran that article online at March 15th, but if you search our website, you can find it. Lauretta, we look forward to having you on Register Radio a lot more often. You'll be covering the national beat, so you'll be looking at these kind of legislations, but a lot of other things such as assisted suicide and the whole pro-life gambit of legislation. So we appreciate your background and the work that you've been doing on this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll talk to Register contributor Patti Armstrong about the controversy over Wal-Mart's sale of demonic merchandise. It has one exorcist warning consumers. This is Register Radio. More when we return.
Sacrifice is a profound virtue Catholics can lovingly embrace, especially during Lent. But this year, why not also indulge in something good for your soul? Give yourself the gift of EWTN's National Catholic Register and stay connected to the latest developments and historical traditions of our Catholic faith. Try the Register for free today and get it delivered to your home, office, or parish. To get your 6 free issues, order online at ncregister.com/radio or call 800-421-3230. and mention code RADIO. The National Catholic Register. It's the one indulgence you won't ever want to give up. Order online today at ncregister.com/radio. The National Catholic Register. Read faithfully.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel.
Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN.
Visit today.
Let's return to Register Radio on EWTN.
Welcome back. I'm Jeanette DeMello, Editor-in-Chief of the National Catholic Register and co-host of Register Radio. I'm with Matthew Bunson, my co-host here on Register Radio. And we're talking about a story that made it really big on the Register's website and on an important other website called Drudge Report. And Let me tell you about it. So Catholics were surprised to learn that Wal-Mart's online catalog has 22 pages, around 440 items of demonic merchandise. So all sorts of stuff. And the story about this made it to the Drudge Report. The author is registered contributor Patti Armstrong, and we have Patti on the line to talk about this blog that she wrote on the Register. So hi, Patti.
Hi, Jeanette and Matthew.
So, Drudge Report, Patti. I mean, this not only made it to number one right away as soon as we posted it on the Register's trending part of our website, but it made it to Drudge Report, and so obviously there was a lot of interest in what's happening here. What are the kind of items that Walmart's selling?
Well, they're not just little innocuous things. It's not like Zodiac on T-shirts. It's real serious satanic stuff. There's a satanic Bible, books on spells, but there's merchandise that I just took my breath away because I was so shocked. There's pornographic stuff that blasphemes the crucifix.
Wow.
There's everything, jewelry, pentagrams. There's the satanic symbol, the trademark Church of Satan's symbol with Baphomet, a horned goat-headed figure that's in a pentagram. It's on shower curtains and blankets, and there's these statues and figures and charms and things with horns and that are supposed to give you power. It's real serious satanic stuff that's extremely disturbing.
How did you find out about this?
Well, I saw something on somebody's Facebook post, and my first reaction was it seemed to me that maybe it was fake news or something, but I looked up the words satanic products, Walmart. Sure enough. And then I counted. I thought, wow, it was pages after pages.
Wow.
So I counted all the pages, 22 pages, and so about 440 items of real serious satanic stuff, and it is on the Walmart catalog website.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you talked to an exorcist about this, and you've done a lot of other stories about talking to exorcists and trying to understand, in a way, I guess, how they look at the world and the kind of things that sometimes we just don't realize are lurking in almost everyday places like Walmart. And so what did the exorcist you spoke to say about this particular case?
One thing I like about talking with exorcists is they do not sensationalize things. Mm-hmm. They're always down to earth, matter of fact, but neither do they whitewash it. They say, this particular exorcist who I call Father Michael, by the way, some of the backlash I got is people saying, oh, so you can't name him. Oh, yeah, like we're,
right.
So he's a real exorcist. And let me tell you that I used to have 3 exorcists that would go by name. Now it's down to 1, because when you use an exorcist name, things get crazy.
Right.
One exorcist told me I can't do any more interviews because TV cameras showed up at his mass.
Right.
So this is why I cannot use their real name. But before I turn anything, I always have them go over it one more time just to make sure I'm explaining things correctly. So what he said.
Let me get on that point for a second, because there are actually many dioceses that will not publicize the name of their exorcist as well, and it's for that very reason. I mean, many people want to talk to an exorcist, not only sensationalists like the TV cameras, but many people are interested in understanding better how to be free of oppression and things like that. So they're very sought after. Many dioceses just do not reveal the names. That's almost a policy across the board. So it's not just your experience. I've seen that as well. So, but back to what he said.
Right. Because life gets crazy, and a lot of these are parish priests. They have other duties.
Exactly.
And their life blows up, in so many different ways. So, so this priest, who we decided to call Father Michael, said that just as religious objects like miraculous medals, crucifixes, they'll connect us with the Blessed Mother and Jesus. He said, similarly, wearing an icon or something satanic is going to open up that person to a demonic presence. And he says that it's very serious, that Satan's going to pay attention to that. If you're wearing a picture of him on your chest, you know, you basically have invited him into your life. And what that's going to mean could mean different things, depending on how engaged you are. One point that he made is that we talked about this. I said, could these have curses on them? He said very often they do. And when you look, go ahead and look at yourself. Go look up satanic products in Walmart and look how bad they are. And see that this is very serious stuff. And so wouldn't it be likely that they would put curses on them?
It makes me shudder. You know, it makes me shudder to think about that.
Right. And so why would you want to connect yourself with Satan like that? It's a very dangerous thing to do.
Absolutely. And so what is Walmart's argument for carrying these items? Do we know the motive behind carrying them?
Well, that's a good question, and I wish they would tell me, because I went to their website, and they have a tab for if you're in the media and you want to contact them. And I clicked on it, and I said, I don't understand, why are you carrying these products? I'm calling for a boycott of your store. I would like somebody to call me or get back with me, email me. And then I got an email saying they would respond within 24 hours. And nobody ever did. It's been over a week. Nobody ever got back with me. But Father Michael said, well, either they're ignorant of what they're doing, or they know exactly what they're doing and they're very intentional. But either way, it's clearly not God's work, and they are responsible for what they're doing. Because I thought, wow, why would anybody even want to carry these things? And what I learned, I called our local stores, and I wanted to know if they had those products on their shelves. And what I'm hearing from other people's comments, they're saying they're not on our shelves. And the person that I talked to at the Walmart store and at the local store, she said, oh, I see what you're saying. Because I said I looked these up and I see them in the catalog. She said it looks like a third-party seller. And some of these big department stores will allow third-party sellers to sell their products through their company, so they don't have to stock it. It's easy for them then, because they get the money, they get their cut, and they're not involved in the shipping or the ordering, but it's on their website as Walmart merchandise. So somewhere someone knows and agrees. There has to be somebody policing this stuff, you know, like what are we letting in, what's going out, you know, what do we want to carry, what don't we want to carry? And here they are carrying not just a few mild things. It's as bad as it could be.
Right. And so I think you made the point in the story, and maybe this is the point that whoever is responsible for allowing this, maybe this is the point they would make. Okay, this is just an argument for equal opportunity, you know, for various religious groups. I mean, isn't that an argument to be made? This is, you know, let's say religious freedom or freedom of expression.
Right, and I bring that up in the article. However, one leads to damnation and the other to salvation, because they do also carry Christian products. And I said, you know, they're a private enterprise. They can sell whatever they want. But in this case, they have sold their soul to put this kind of stuff, make it available for people, to tarnish their reputation. And one thing that some people have commented on is that, well, Amazon sells this stuff too. Okay, well then, yep, it is. And then I thought, wouldn't this be a great opportunity for Walmart to edge out Amazon, so people that are offended by this can say, you know what, I'm not shopping at Amazon, I'm going to shop at Walmart.
Right. Patty, I love the way you think.
I think it's the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
So there's something else, though, about Walmart right now that you're trying to urge them. Fill us in on the other problem you've seen lately with Walmart merchandise.
Are you talking about the American Family Association? Right. Yeah. Now, so as I was looking around and seeing what was going on and seeing if anybody else had written about this, and what I found is that the American Family Association started a protest. They have an online what do you call it? They want people to call customer service and complain, and they also have an online petition asking to remove.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, I'm stumbling a bit here, but they have what they're protesting is they have an ad campaign called Love in the Aisle, and on episode 2, it features a same-sex couple on a blind date. And they decide that they're not compatible because they're both shopping for completely different things. And what the American Family Association is asking Wal-Mart to do is simply to remove the pro-homosexual video and remain neutral on controversial issues. And like, why wouldn't you? Right. Why wouldn't you just stay neutral? But because otherwise you've got an agenda afoot. So,
absolutely.
And they're asking them to stay neutral on that.
So obviously, your blog presents both of these things, and it gives readers the opportunity to contact Wal-Mart and to help make their concerns known. And we're consumers, and so we have the ability, hopefully, to influence the places where we shop. And so please check out Patti Armstrong's blog. This piece is not going to be hard for you to find on the Register site. It's trending, and it's number 1 in that trending spot. But the title of the piece is An Exorcist's Comments on Wal-Mart Satanic Products. And I hope you do look it up and just remember how important it is to understand the religious significance of satanic articles. Patti, thank you for always bringing this to our readers. You take it very seriously, and I very much appreciate that.
Well, I thank you very much. I hope other people take it seriously, and I'm really happy to see that it really does matter to people.
Right.
That it would be trending. That this is not just one more thing.
It's not
that
clickbait.
People are ignoring. Yeah.
No, it's serious. So.
No, and people are responding.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you, Patti.
Thank you.
Remember, for more news, analysis, and commentary, to check out ncregister.com. And thanks for joining us here on Register Radio on EWTN. For Matthew Bunson and our producer, Jeff Burson, I'm Jeanette DeMello. Until next week, God bless you.
For more information about the National Catholic Register and about Register Radio, go to ncregister.com. Podcasts of Register Radio are posted on ncregister.com and on EWTN.com. Join us next week at this time for Register Radio on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.